Good afternoon, and welcome to Modern Debates, the show where we discuss the important questions of our time. Today, we are exploring a topic that many of you might find very interesting. Should people work fewer hours each week? The idea of a 4-day work week with the same pay is becoming more popular around the world. Some say it's the future of work, promising a better life. Others believe it is a dangerous idea for our economy. To help us understand this topic, we have two excellent guests. Dr. Isla Fisher is an expert in work-life balance and a strong supporter of the shorter work week. Welcome, Isla.
Thank you for having me, Leo. I'm happy to be here.
And with us is Mr. Samuel Chen, an experienced business owner who sees some serious challenges with this idea. Welcome, Samuel.
Thank you, Leo. It's a pleasure to join the discussion.
We are looking forward to a respectful and interesting conversation. Let's begin with opening statements. Dr. Fisher, you believe a shorter work week is the right direction for our society. Please, tell us why.
Thank you, Leo. I want to start by asking our listeners a question. Have you ever reached the end of a long work week feeling completely exhausted? You feel so tired that you don't have the energy to play with your children, meet your friends, or do the hobbies you love. This feeling is far too common in our modern world, and it's a serious problem. My main argument is simple. A shorter work week directly improves our well-being. When people have more time to rest, their mental and physical health gets better. They have time for exercise, for preparing healthy meals, and for spending quality time with their families and friends. This isn't just about feeling good. It's about preventing serious health issues. Less stress means a lower risk of heart problems and better mental health. It reduces employee burnout, which is a major issue in many industries today. Now, some people might think that if we work less, we will produce less. But the evidence shows the opposite is often true. My second point is that a shorter work week can actually increase productivity. When employees are well-rested and happy, they are more focused and motivated. They make fewer mistakes, and their work is of a higher quality. It's about working smarter, not longer. People learn to manage their time more effectively when they know they have a 3-day weekend to look forward to. Finally, this change is not just good for workers, it's also very good for businesses. Happy employees are loyal employees. Companies that have tried a 4-day week often report that fewer people leave their jobs. This saves the company a lot of money on hiring and training new staff. It also attracts the best talent. In today's competitive market, offering a 4-day week can be a huge advantage. So to conclude, reducing work hours is not a radical, untested idea. It is a smart, modern solution that creates a positive cycle. It leads to healthier, happier employees, which in turn leads to more productive, innovative, and successful companies. It's a change that benefits everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Fisher, for that passionate start. Mr. Chen, you have a different perspective. Please share your opening statement with us.
Thank you, Leo. And thank you, Dr. Fisher. I want to begin by saying that I completely understand why the idea of a shorter work week is so attractive. Who wouldn't want an extra day off? The idea of more time for family, hobbies, and rest is something we all want. However, while the idea sounds wonderful in theory, we must look at the practical reality, especially from a business perspective. My first major concern is the economic cost. For many businesses, especially small and medium-sized ones like my own, our costs are already very high. If my employees work 20% less time, I have two choices. Either my company produces 20% less, which could make us uncompetitive, or I have to hire more people to do the same amount of work. Hiring more staff is incredibly expensive. It's not just about salary, it's about training, equipment, and benefits. For many businesses, this extra cost could be the difference between surviving and failing. My second point is about the practical challenges. Dr. Fisher talks about this as if all jobs are the same. But they are not. How can essential services operate on a 4-day week? Think about hospitals, police stations, or fire departments. Do we just close them for one extra day? Of course not. So they would need to hire more people, which, as I said, is very expensive and might not even be possible if there aren't enough trained people available. What about customer support centers? Customers need help 5, 6, or even 7 days a week. A shorter work week could lead to a serious reduction in the quality of services for everyone. Finally, I am worried about the potential for greater inequality. This model might work well for office workers who can perhaps do their work more quickly. But what about people who are paid by the hour? Think about factory workers, construction workers, or staff in shops and restaurants. If they work fewer hours, they will earn less money. For people who are already struggling to pay their bills, a smaller paycheck is not a benefit, it's a disaster. In conclusion, while I appreciate the goal of improving well-being, I believe that forcing a shorter work week on all businesses is a risky experiment. It's a one-size-fits-all solution that ignores the complex reality of our economy. It could harm businesses, reduce essential services, and hurt many hardworking people. We need to be much more careful.
Thank you, Mr. Chen, for outlining those significant challenges. This brings us to our first round of discussion. The central conflict seems to be between productivity and cost. Dr. Fisher, you argue that companies can cover the cost of a shorter week because employees will become more productive. Mr. Chen, from your perspective as a business owner, is that a realistic expectation?
Honestly, Leo, I believe it is a huge risk. The idea that productivity will automatically increase by 20% to cover the lost day is a very optimistic assumption. In some roles, it might be possible. But in many others, it simply isn't. I run a business that provides technical support to other companies. Our productivity is measured by being available when our clients need us. If our office is closed on a Friday and a client has an emergency, how is increased productivity on Monday going to help them? It won't. They will just see us as less reliable. We can't just squeeze 5 days of availability into 4. For service-based industries, time is the product. Reducing time means reducing the product. To promise business owners that this will all be fine because their staff will suddenly become super efficient is, I think, irresponsible. It's a gamble, and if that gamble fails, people lose their jobs.
Dr. Fisher, Mr. Chen calls it a gamble. How do you respond to that? What about businesses that need to be available for their customers 5 or more days a week?
That's a very important question, and it's true that this change requires careful planning. It's not a magic switch. But Mr. Chen calls it a gamble. I call it a smart investment in efficiency. The companies that have successfully moved to a 4-day week didn't just cut a day and hope for the best. They fundamentally changed their work culture. They were forced to look at how they spent their time. They cut unnecessary meetings, which waste hours every week. They adopted new technology to automate simple tasks. They empowered their employees to manage their own schedules to focus on results, not on the number of hours they were sitting at a desk. Regarding service businesses, there are many successful models. Some companies use a rota system, where different teams work different sets of 4 days, ensuring there is always coverage. For example, Team A works Monday to Thursday, and Team B works Tuesday to Friday. The business is still open 5 days, but everyone gets a 3-day weekend. Yes, this may require some initial investment or hiring, but the long-term benefits of lower employee turnover, higher quality work, and becoming an employer of choice far outweigh those initial costs. The data from pilot programs in many countries, from Japan to the UK, supports this. It's not a gamble when it's based on evidence.
That's a very practical counter-argument. Let's move to our second area of discussion, balancing employee well-being with business needs. Dr. Fisher, your arguments for improved health and happiness are very powerful. But Mr. Chen also has a point that businesses need to be healthy and profitable to provide any jobs at all. Mr. Chen, how do you think a company can best balance the health of its employees with the health of the business?
I believe that any good business owner already knows that their employees are their most important asset. We are not slave drivers from the 19th century. We want our staff to be healthy and happy because that is good for business. But there are many ways to achieve this without taking the extreme step of cutting 20% of our operating hours. For example, many companies now offer flexible working hours. This allows an employee to start earlier and finish earlier so they can pick up their children from school. Or they can work longer hours for 4 days and take the 5th day off, but this is their choice, not a company rule forced on everyone. Another excellent option is the ability to work from home. This saves employees time and money on commuting and gives them a better work-life balance. We can also invest more in health benefits, like gym memberships or access to mental health support. These are all positive, supportive measures that help employees without risking the entire business model. These solutions are flexible. They recognize that different employees have different needs. A young person might want to work more hours to save money, while a parent might prefer more flexibility. These alternatives are safer, more practical, and they respect the individual needs of both the employees and the business.
Dr. Fisher, Mr. Chen suggests alternatives like flexible hours and remote work. Are these not enough? Why is the 4-day week, specifically, so important?
Those are all good things, and I support any company that offers them. But they are small solutions to a very big problem. Flexible hours and working from home can help, but they do not solve the fundamental issue of overwork. In many cases, working from home has actually made people work even longer hours because the line between home and office has disappeared. These perks are like putting a small bandage on a deep wound. The wound is a work culture that says more is always better, more hours, more projects, more stress. A shorter work week is not a perk. It is a fundamental change in that culture. It is a structural solution. It sends a clear message from the company to its employees. We value your health and your life outside of work. We trust you to do a great job in less time. This builds a deep sense of loyalty and respect that you cannot achieve with a free gym membership. It forces a company to become more efficient and to trust its people. It's a long-term strategy for a sustainable and healthy work environment. While flexibility is nice, a 4-day week is a transformative change that creates a healthier society for the future, not just a more convenient present.
We are nearing the end of our time. I would now like to ask you both for a brief closing statement. Let's keep it to about 50 words each. Dr. Fisher, your final thoughts?
Moving to a shorter work week is not about working less. It's about working smarter. It creates healthier people, stronger families, and more innovative companies. It is the intelligent and necessary next step for a modern, successful society.
Thank you, Dr. Fisher. Mr. Chen, your closing statement, please.
We must be very careful not to damage our economy with a single solution that doesn't fit every situation. Forcing a shorter week could hurt the small businesses and the hourly workers it claims to help. We should focus on practical, flexible solutions.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. And thank you both, Dr. Isla Fisher and Mr. Samuel Chen, for sharing your very clear and insightful perspectives on this important topic today. We have heard two very different views. On one side, Dr. Fisher presents a vision of a future with better work-life balance, improved health, and higher productivity through a shorter work week. On the other side, Mr. Chen has raised serious and practical concerns about the economic costs, the challenges for essential services, and the potential for inequality. Ultimately, the question remains for all of us to consider. Is a 4-day work week a realistic path to a better future? Or is it a risk we can't afford to take? I hope this discussion has given you plenty to think about. That is all the time we have for Modern Debates. Thank you for listening. Good afternoon.